What if Mufasa had a will? What if Darth Vader had a trust? And what exactly did Harry Potter's parents leave behind? If you've ever wondered about the legacy lessons hiding inside your favorite movies, welcome to 82 Toothpicks, a podcast from the Heisinger Law Firm. We believe every movie is an estate planning movie. You just have to know where to look. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's talk about the movie. Welcome back to another week of the podcast, everybody.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hello.
Jason and Alyssa are back this week.
Guess who's back?
Back again. We are talking about another Spider-Man movie. What did we watch this week, Jason?
We watched Across the Spider-Verse,
Excellent.
the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse, take 2, round 2, something,
Fight.
and go. All right. Anyway. Yeah. So kind of another riff on what we talked about last week a little bit, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, this one was different, though.
It was. Yeah.
just a little bit.
Why was it different?
It leans way more heavily into the multiverse part of Spider-Man and how there are infinite variations of Spider-Man and the weirdness that ensues because of it.
The weirdness. That is
Yeah.
true.
And it was, I mean, it still leans on the Miles Morales story, but it isn't primarily. I think the first one is we are telling Miles's story.
Yeah.
And this one was, I mean, definitely leaned into Gwen's story, but kind of more broadly the story of
Yeah.
what's happening with the broken dimensions in the Spider-Verse and the different worlds.
They didn't call it
Yes.
the Spider-Verse until halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he just jumps in and is like, Spider-Verse. The guy's like, no, it's called the...
Insert long name here,
Yes.
which I guess also sounds stupid, but
Yes. So, what did we think?
I love this movie. This is like #1 animated movie of all time for me.
More than the first one?
More than the first one.
Why?
Because I just love like the weird side of animation and all of like the actual technical aspect of it. And this movie, technically speaking, on the animation front is like earth shattering in the amount of work that was put in and the detail put into the animation.
It lends itself to an infinite number of animation styles, right?
Yeah. And it's not just difference in animation styles, but like they go through and for different characters, they animate them at different frame rates, for example,
Oh, yeah.
because they naturally flow differently. And there are even characters like with Spider-Man 2099 or Miguel O'Hara.
Oh, okay.
He's
Say the numbers are not
animated at an odd numbered frame rate.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I bet that's not normal.
No, it's like 29 and normally it's like 32 is what you animate at.
Oh, interesting.
So how does that show up differently?
He feels a lot more sharp and jagged
Mhm.
because it's just weird.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, we meet a lot of different weird Spider-Men.
Just a couple.
Like what?
Well, they do kind of walk into a giant, almost like shopping mall, like think Mall of America-esque lobby.
Yeah.
And that's the lobby. And it's
Spider-Man.
Only
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
in different fonts and variations.
Different fonts. I like that description of it.
And so the ones you meet and are named, you get 10, 15 new ones,
Yeah.
maybe a little more than that. But when you're actually watching it, you're watching
you see
hundreds,
Yeah.
potentially thousands of different Spider-Man variations.
Yeah. And you get like every genre. Like you get the cowboy Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Why does the horse have a mask?
because he needs to keep his identity a secret.
Or the T-Rex Spider-Man.
Teeth whip.
Or the Avatar one too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, pick a genre and we've got a Spider-Man for that
Lego
genre.
one.
Oh, the Lego one. I liked when they jumped into the Lego world. It made me think
Yeah.
Lego movie just a little bit.
Yeah.
I know I said this when we were watching it, but that whole section of animation was done by a 17-year-old.
That's pretty cool.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Doing much better than I was at 17.
Yeah. Was it stop motion activated with, or
Yeah.
animated with bricks, or was it?
It was stop motion
Digital.
animated with assistance from digital with some parts.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what they do.
They digital everything anymore.
of
There's
course.
a digital layer at the end, but
But they do that with a lot of, for example, faces. They
Oh.
often draw on a lot of the faces in post so you
Yep.
can get the animated mouth.
yeah.
And then you often will just get like almost green screen-esque bricks that they just can sub in stuff that aren't actual Lego pieces. So that way you can get some of those more weird, interesting
Yeah.
pieces.
All right. So now that we've talked in circles around it, what is give me your synopsis of the plot?
Yeah, what's the movie about?
The movie is about the events after the first movie and what happens when all of a sudden you are thrown into the chaos of trying to stop universes from colliding. And what happens when someone who doesn't know what causes those universes colliding starts messing with them.
Yeah.
That is not the story that I would have told. You're 100% right that is the story. And that's also not the story that
Okay.
I
Because
would
there's like,
Oh, I know.
I know.
Because it's
9
multiverse,
stories,
right? So
right.
it's like all
So-
the stories all at once.
Tell us your version.
This is the story of how Miles discovers, one, what it means to be Spider-Man, and that he's not supposed to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or it's the story of Miles learning that his desire to be a part of something. So he
Yeah.
wants to have Gwen back. He wants to when he finds out about the Spider-Man, I don't know, unit. It's not real organization.
yeah,
He wants to be a part of that, and then
right.
learning that it's not really what it's about. And then
Yeah.
and then for Gwen, her story is just learning that the people who care about her are the ones that matter, not
Mm-hmm.
the effect she has on the world.
It felt like this movie introduced a lot of different stories and then didn't really finish any of them.
Oh, it
'Cause
definitely
they also
didn't.
introduced Spot.
Yep.
And then left that completely unresolved.
Yeah.
Spot is our antagonist.
Yeah. It plays like, so it actually reminded me of The Matrix.
Oh, interesting.
Into the Spider-Verse and The Matrix.
Sure.
2 standalone movies,
Yep.
tell a story, right? Plot, arc, rising action, climax, denouement.
Yeah. Nice.
And then The Matrix does the same thing. But then the second Matrix movie doesn't finish a story.
Yeah.
because at that point they're looking to build it into more stories,
Right.
And so they're allowed to leave open-ended questions.
Exactly. They're doing that because they know you're going to come back to watch the third one.
Yeah,
I actually, I have a hard time with that as a writing choice
yeah,
That's fair.
because I was unsatisfied by this
Yeah.
movie.
I kind of was too.
And I don't mean I didn't enjoy watching it.
sure.
I just,
Nothing ended.
yeah, like, okay.
There
Well,
was no wrap up.
if I had watched it for the first time when it came out in 23, I got to wait 4 years
Yeah.
with that
That's
dissatisfying
not what
feeling.
we were told, though. We were told it was going to be 8 months before the sequel,
Okay, well,
and then it
but
got kicked back And that's
but
what
that's
happened
worse.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much worse. But it's the same thing with the Infinity War to Endgame.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Same kind of deal. The story just really was not finished.
But
Yeah.
I still think Endgame is one of the best Marvel movies of all time. Right. And will be.
Interesting. I mean, I know globally that's what people think.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. That's never been a thing that's bothered me personally. But
No, and I mean, that's like, it's just, I don't particularly care for the writing choice that says we're writing a movie that's not done. I want you to finish the movie. And there were too many, what you were just talking about. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
What the story does is it introduces all these plot lines. And if they had at least drawn those plot lines back together, it would have felt satisfying, but they left them kind of spread out and not really linked again, right? So you've got Miguel's backstory that you just barely start to see a little bit. And then they leave that hanging. And then you've got Gwen, and she goes back to her dad, but then she's trying to find Miles, and you sort of leave that hanging. And then somehow she gets all her squad back together, and that sort of gets left hanging. And you don't even know how they ended up back together. And it's like this whole, and I know why, but that feels to me like,
It feels like there's a lot thrown at us and none of it was explained.
well, it feels lazy to me.
yeah, it also, when you actually look at the production side of it and what happened with the production, it makes a lot more sense, but that's not something a lot of people are going to go look at, right? And we were talking about this when we were watching it last night at the end, like when we finished watching. We were talking about this again. Part of the reason it feels like that is because they ended with 4.5 hours of movie and story and decided that was too much for one movie and cut it at a place that felt
Like a break. Yeah.
It felt like a break.
We would go to commercial here if this was a show. Yeah.
And then they were supposed to drop the second part with some extra animation stuff, so it took the extra 8 months. And then we got hit with animators strike and voice actors strike. And then Sony had a whole bunch of people go on. There was a big Sony strike that happened with their whole team. Like the whole company. The entirety of the production department basically all went on strike. And then there was
The writer's strike was in there. That one was huge.
the writer's strike. There was then Sony had a management shift
strike.
And so
there was lots of stuff.
There
that
was
got
a
messed
lot of
up
stuff
in the
that got messed
entertainment
up.
world in those few years.
And so this story that was supposed to come out right after was all of a sudden left hanging because they didn't have a way to get it done. And the story they were hoping to get wrapped up pretty quick all of a sudden got left open-ended like it did.
Yeah.
And now we have to wait till next June.
There are so many different takes on doing a really long story in the movie world. And I think it's best shown in The Lord of the Rings, where you've got The Lord of the Rings and then you have the extended Lord of the Rings. And then the same guy did The Hobbit and decided to do a way shorter book in, is that one 3 parts?
It's 3 movies.
It's 3 movies. And he did, So
well, or like Harry Potter, right? We got the last book was 2 movies. Like,
true.
We didn't have that level of detail for the first 6 books, so why are we doing it now?
Yeah.
In the most painful story of the entire series.
And it's not, isn't the 7th one also not the longest book?
True.
Oh,
I think
by
the
far.
longest is the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it
it's just
makes
interesting, right?
sense.
Breaking stories in the middle of the story has
Or like the
always
Hunger
bothered
Games
me. Yeah.
did the same thing.
Yep, same thing with Mockingjay.
Yep.
I just
Yeah.
and I understand.
Mhm.
I understand why. I know the industry. They're right. There's a money generating aspect to it. Like, I get all of that. It feels like lazy writing.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm going to compare it to my favorite movie. Empire Strikes Back doesn't have that.
Yeah.
It tells the whole story and there's more story. And you know that at the end of that movie because they tell you that. but they
Yeah.
finished the Empire story in one movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it doesn't have to work that way. So that's why I feel like they could have put a little effort into that.
They could have, but it's also a thing the consumer field has changed since those movies came out. Right. And so the consumer field from movies in the 70s versus movies now, like late 70s, early 80s was when that original trilogy came out for Star Wars, right?
That's an interesting take on it because the consumer field generally is 90-second videos and shorter is what grabs attention.
But it's also a thing that movies weren't
maybe
really
we're
a
not
thing
looking
people
for
went to.
Finished stories if we're
that's
used to all of the
short blurbs. We're just looking to consume more, right?
We're just looking for
And
something
so-
that looks pretty and flashy.
And
that
so
can be.
something that they do is they leave those open-ended things because they know you're already going to be looking for more no matter what. They might as well keep you coming back to bring in more money.
Yeah. Interesting.
It also captures your attention,
Yeah.
right? Because now you're thinking about it,
Yeah.
right? That story didn't end, and I'm dissatisfied, so I know I need to come back and be satisfied at the
Yep.
end. Yeah, interesting.
So, of all of the Infinite Spider-Men, who's your favorite Spider-Man in this movie?
Well, Jason told us last week that his favorite Spider-Man is in this movie.
Mm-hmm. I would like to hear you guys' first, and I'll go last.
Okay. I have to think a minute because there were so many.
There were a lot of them.
I would have to say my favorite is probably still Peter B. Parker.
His
Character development
in
over
this
these
movie
two movies.
was just excellent.
Just seeing him being a father and then his whole explanation to Miles as to why he became a father is genuinely like one of the more beautiful scenes.
Yeah,
That's
it was
pretty
really
neat.
sweet.
I also love the fact that he is so aggressively new dad coded.
Yes.
Through this whole movie.
Hold the baby, it'll make you feel better.
He goes from aggressively depressed and from being divorced and on his own, fresh, to I'm a dad, my life is awesome. And then having
Genuinely terrible at holding babies.
Yes.
But no, his character development across
He's
these two
awesome.
are really, really good.
And his daughter Mayday is also such a fun character. She doesn't have a lot of really anything, but
She's so cute with her
she's
little
so
like
cute.
knitted
And she has
Spider-Man mask.
her
Yeah.
Spider-Man beanie that she pulls down over her face like a mask, and she's got a little web slinger, but she doesn't really have any dialogue or anything. She's just kind of there and being amazing and adorable.
Yes. I think that's a good choice. She's a very minor part of this, but I really liked I don't know her name, the one who was there as an avatar and she was just sitting in her chair in her house, but her spider woman personality was running the computers at the
Spider Bite, Margot
Yeah.
Kess.
Oh yeah, Spider Bite.
Yeah. And I think what I liked about her is she also didn't have very many lines and she wasn't actually a very big part of the movie. But the way she was animated, her facial expressions told us so much about how she was participating in this story and her moment of conflict at the end. When does she send does she reboot the computer and keep him here so that he can, in her few moments, I just felt like you got a lot out of her character.
Absolutely.
Well, she plays a major role
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes back at the very end of the movie and joins Gwen's whole crew of people going to help find and save Miles.
Yeah. And that's not surprising because you watch her conflict all over her face in every scene that she is in.
Because she knows Miles is not supposed to be there, but she also realizes that his life is so much harder because of everything that's happened. And he didn't really have control over any of it. And so while he isn't supposed to be Spider-Man, as this movie is telling the story of, she still has compassion for him and is like, your life is hard. Let's do our best to fix it.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually seen in a lot of the major playing characters in this movie is they either lean way aggressively into the we keep all of the multiverse in order in the same way Miguel does, or they lean into the we need to have compassion on people and save as many people as we can.
Or Spider-Man to help people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the second Spider-Woman that came up. I think it was Jessica Drew.
Yes.
Pregnant motorcycle rider.
Yeah. She did that for Gwen. She was like, look, she's not going to be able to do anything in this universe if we leave her here to get arrested. So let's pull her out for a bit. Give her and her universe some time to chill. And then if things go south, we put her back in her universe.
Give her universe some time to chill. That's a weird sentence, man. It's weird.
Am I wrong, though? That's basically what they did.
Yeah, I know.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man in this one, Ethan?
I think it's still Miles.
That's fair. He's a really good character.
I think it's. I think it's still Miles. I like the nuance that you get in his story of, right? Well, you're my nemesis. No, I'm not. Stop that. And the villain tells his whole origin story.
Yeah.
Right. Spot.
Yeah.
Tells his whole origin story, and like, Miles, you owe everything to me. And Miles like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
I owe you nothing. And then it turns out he's the one who brought the spider that bit Miles. Yep. And he's and he's in every moment of Miles' life that was connected to him being and becoming and then being Spider-Man. And Miles is just like, I don't. Sorry, man.
Yeah, you may have been the catalyst. I had no idea you were the catalyst for any of this. That doesn't mean I owe you anything.
I didn't go seeking out your spider.
Exactly. It could have been any person who got bit by that spider.
Yeah. And he says it, Spot says it like he meant to do it.
Right.
That's the part that Miles is like, sorry, bro.
Slow down.
I didn't sign a contract.
I found that thing in a back alley of a train station. What do you mean you meant for me to get bit?
Right.
Like I was there to do graffiti. There's no way you planted that.
That was not my intention when I woke up in the morning.
Right. So I just from that to how that translates into you were never meant to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And this universe doesn't have a Spider-Man and they're blaming him, and the Spot is owning that as like it just. I liked the nuance of Miles' story, and
everyone,
and I like that he's learning and he develops new powers, and like I think he's a good Spider-Man.
He's fantastic. And the other really interesting thing with this movie is everyone's blaming him, and he knows he had nothing to do with it, and so he's just like, I don't know how to tell you guys I didn't do any of this. I didn't choose this.
This is not my fault.
This is not on me. This is not something I chose. This is a mantle I had to take on. So stop trying to throw it in my face and blame me for every issue that came out of a mistake I didn't make.
Yeah, you're making it my fault because a thing happened to me, as opposed to a choice that I made. And I think that's a theme in this movie is the choices we make. Right, Miguel's story is all about the choices we make, and right. He took the place of the Miguel in this other universe, and it ended up destroying that universe.
Yeah,
and Peter B. Parker is all about the choices he made, and that spins off of the first movie, right? But this movie is all about choices.
Yeah,
and I think that's
and the choices and the effect choices have.
Yeah, thematically, that's what this movie is.
Yeah.
It's the choices we make impact us and the people around us.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for somebody like a Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Whose impact is outsized, right? It's an exaggerated impact. So then every choice, right? Miles saving the inspector in Moombatan. or Moonbatten.
Who knows?
Who knows? Right. That was a choice. And he made a choice in the moment to save somebody's life. And that was a good choice. And then Miguel is like, you wrecked it.
And he's like, all I did was save a guy. What do you mean I wrecked it?
And I like, I think that's probably what I found the most interesting about this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, Miles is my favorite.
That's a good answer. So my favorite kind of trends with a lot of my other favorite characters. My favorite is Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk's whole shtick in this movie is he is there to be a disruptor to the order and to take care of the people he cares about. And so he comes in kind of out of nowhere. He wasn't called any of that. And he basically recovers what would have been a lost situation if he wasn't there, and turns the encounter in Moonbatten from a we lost and we don't know what to do and we are screwed to a we can salvage this, we can make this work situation in a very much older brother kind of way. And I think that's part of why I like him, is because a lot of my favorite characters in media are older brother characters, right? And so his whole role being the older brother, quiet support from the back that no one's really going to notice, while also kind of just being a chaotic presence, is just very cool.
Yeah. You said two things in there that jumped out at me. One was something about just being kind of a disrupting the order. And the other thing you said was something to the effect of he'll do anything to protect his people.
Yeah.
He's not there for the big picture, do what the main guy wants him to do. He's there for his own, what he has decided are the right motives, not what somebody else told him was the right motives.
He's the one carving his path, doing what he wants. If that means he has to be part of this organization to get the resources to do that, that's what he does.
Yeah.
And if that means his people are protected, that's what he does. And it's really interesting when you actually look at the tells for the people he cares about when you're watching the movie. A lot of them are things you wouldn't notice. But every time he touches a person he cares about, he flashes pink for but a moment. Mm-hmm. And so every time he celebrates Miles doing anything, he'll grab his shoulder and shake him, and he'll flash pink for a moment.
Yeah.
And then he'll go to the gray, and then he'll go back to the weird jarring newspaper multicolor thing.
Newspaper print. Yep.
Which is A, just a really interesting way to animate a character, and B, the work they had to put in. None of his limbs or anything are at the same frame rate as any other part of his body. Yeah. So one of them moving is on a 2 count, one of them is moving on a 5 count, one of them is moving on a 3 count. And so they're all jarring and off-putting because his whole shtick is he is the disruptor character. He's not aligning with anything.
Even himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
If we're opening up the conversation to the color theory or the color stuff.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things I noticed in one of the first scenes with Gwen talking to her dad, you could see it started off with the whole thing as blue because he was talking to her as his role as a police officer. And then it switched to his role as her dad for a moment, and everything turned warm. Mm-hmm. And then it flashed back to cold once he went back to the police personality. And I thought that was a really interesting
I think the color theory was the most obvious in those
family scenes.
Yeah, the family
particularly
scenes.
With Gwen and her dad. But
yeah. It's super interesting because her whole universe is almost two-tone, blue and pink, right? Mm-hmm. And so they use that very intentionally through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's really, really interesting. Another thing that happens when it has that momentary shift during that museum fight with the Vulture, who's from another dimension. The Vulture gets pulled into this museum and is wrecking stuff. And so Spider-Gwen goes to stop it, contain it, has to have an interaction with her dad, who's trying to hunt her down, thinking that Spider-Gwen was the person who killed her best friend, not knowing that Spider-Gwen was his daughter. And they have this interaction where he's having a conflict between how do I make the choice between doing my job and arresting a person we have a warrant out for and doing the right thing for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch the moment of conflict where it's almost split blue and red for a moment, and it goes to red for a moment, like that reddish pink, really warm hue when he's kind of made the choice to be her father. And you watch it all shrink back into the blue when he starts to like be like, no, I need to do my job. And then it pivots to her and all of the color gets sucked out from like the core of her chest, right? And so this black, almost creeping web crawls out from her and all of the color in the background shifts.
Yeah.
And then it shifts to the normal Spider-Man colors as Miguel and Jessica Drew Spider-Woman basically pull her out and say, you're not going to be of use in this universe right now. So let's take you out of it and we'll plug you back in a little while when you have yourself collected.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting color stuff. Like I said, I think hers is the most obvious, but there's stuff through the whole movie. There's a lot of like the color gets sucked out of a scene in a moment kind of moments.
Yeah.
Is another like really big. But yeah. Even the way the dimension shift is sometimes just black void, and then sometimes it's this odd refracted angles and colors.
Yeah.
Is a really interesting.
That's gonna be the story in the next movie. It's part of the story.
Yeah, the emptiness versus the,
because they talk about this the hole in Moonbottom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I forget the words he used that
it's
Miguel
an anomaly.
used, but it was a specific kind though. It was like a temporal or I don't remember exactly. Multiversal anomaly, something like that. And it was different than every other time that has happened. And they blamed Miles for the hole. And it's actually the villain who created the hole. And that is going to be a significant element of the story in the next movie. It has to be.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's either going to be Miguel strangling Miles for thinking he's the anomaly when he's not the one causing the problems. It is all of the interactions with the super colliders that's causing the anomalies, right?
Yep.
Versus, or it's going to go into the Miguel having the realization on his own and not even interacting with Miles and realizing Miles isn't in this universe, but the universes are still collapsing.
Right.
Why? Where am I misaligned? And having to really like almost look within himself to figure out why he's so aggressive with all of it.
Yeah, so it's all set up to lead to this confrontation between Miles and the Spot, right? Like that's the Spot in this movie is making himself stronger in order to defeat Miles.
Yeah.
But he wants to have that fight in their universe.
Yeah.
Earth 65. And Miles goes to Earth 42.
Yep.
And everyone else goes to Earth 65.
And everyone's like, where'd Miles go?
Right.
What happened?
And so there's going to be some interesting tension in there. And either they're going to play it out with Spot and Miles, right?
Yeah.
Or they're going to play it out with all of the Spider-Men who went to Earth 65 are going to find the Spot. And that's like, there's going to be something in that interaction where they figure out, oh, this isn't what we thought. It's because of the super colliders.
Yeah.
And the hole in Moonbottom is because, and like it could go.
I have a feeling it's really going to lean into that because of a little bit of what you see during the backstory of Miguel O'Hara. You see that the other universe in Miguel O'Hara worked for Alchemax, which is the company that always has the super colliders.
Yep.
And then he went
and made the spider.
Yeah. And when the different Miguel O'Hara stepped in and there was an anomaly, he blamed himself for it. But I don't think it was him because it didn't happen immediately after the super collider. I think the super collider's effects just deteriorated the wall and something broke through it, right?
Sure.
And that's where the actual conflict is going to start.
Yeah. It's fun to speculate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We ready to talk about estate planning?
I'm always ready to talk about estate planning. It's what I do.
That's true. All right.
I'll go last.
Yeah, that's probably best. Where'd we see estate planning in this movie?
I raised the point again that everybody dies.
Yeah.
I think, and it was actually one of my favorite scenes / effects in this movie, but you get that moment where they're explaining that he interrupted this Canon event. There's a thing that needs to happen to every Spider-Man to make them Spider-Man, and it shows in a line all of the different Spider-Men with the significant person in their life that died.
Typically a dead uncle.
Yep.
Yeah. Dead uncle, dead chief, dead friend.
Sometimes all three.
Sometimes all three. But I loved the visualization of like them being this infinite line of the variations that, and the idea that it took that death to create there's some very, I'm going to say, estate planning implications there with the the death being the cause of the next chapter or that kind of thing. So I thought that whole scene was really a really great focus. There continues to be a lot of family relationship stuff. I think that all.
And I think that's important because of the fact that most Spider-Man variations are teenagers.
Yeah.
Right. And so you see all of the adult Spider-Man, and they have a very different interaction with the world than, think Miles, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Punk, all of those people, because they're not at that point where they're just changing, right?
Right. But in those relationships, you see the beginnings of all of the things that we see in our office, the complexity of parent-child relationships that we deal with when people are saying which kid should be my trustee, which kid do I want to answer my health questions, which kid that all starts in those parent-child relationships. And you see the same sorts of complex relationships repeated in this movie between parent and child a lot of the estate planning questions are parents and children. That's just what we deal with, is all of the parent-child relationship stuff.
It's also very interesting seeing it from different perspectives than Miles and his family. You get to see the interactions between Gwen and her dad in this movie a lot, and that shift on perspective for what all of that really does.
Yeah.
What this being Spider-Man really affects is very interesting.
And even Peter B. Parker, as a dad, now has a different focus.
Well, not just different focus.
A different,
because what you're talking about is the way this movie portrays parent-child.
Yeah.
And they're all different facets of the parent-child relationship, right?
Yeah. I even noticed when the Jessica Spider-Woman shows up and she's pregnant, and Gwen immediately has a question of should you be here fighting when you're pregnant? And there's some
why are you here? You have a 8 month you are 8 months pregnant. Why are you here?
Yeah.
Go home.
What are you doing?
But there's even the parent-child responsibility particularly some of those medical care perspectives that we would think of that show up in that conversation, even though it's like 2 sentences.
Yeah.
That one popped out at me too.
It's very interesting.
What else did you see?
I mean, there's some continuing themes from the first one, right? The trust. Spider-Man being Spider-Man is a trust. Anyone can be behind the mask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feeling, and it's a responsibility, and right, all the things we talked about last week. It's much more in your face with this one because you're seeing all of the Spider-Man, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a freaking T-Rex
And a
Yeah.
cat.
and a cat. Yep. So
And a horse.
yes, that. Yep. So it's very on the nose, right? In the last movie, they talk a little bit about it. There's some phrasing and lines that get said that lead you to that conclusion. But in this one, it's like this organization exists
Because of that idea.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. The maybe a little less obvious one, right? I mean, the moment in the movie where I said, "Hey, look, it's an estate planning movie," was the scene you mentioned with Amber, with the line of Spider-Men who all have the deceased family member or loved one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what changes their life.
Yep.
I mean, that's estate planning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you die, are you going to change your loved one's life for the positive or the negative?
Right.
Is the
That
estate
usually is
planning
the
question.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the moment where I said it out loud. But I think the overall theme of the movie being behind choices and the impact of our choices
Mm-hmm.
is estate planning also.
Yeah.
Whether that's the choices we make about who's going to be, I've got a catch in my throat. Who's going to be in control or in charge of decision making when we need that. But it's also the choices about how we behave and how our actions and our words affect other people. There's trust is a theme in this movie, right? You're lying to me. You've been lying to me for how long, right? Gwen, her dad asks her that. But Miles' dad says, there's a confrontation there too. Actually, I think it's his mom.
Yeah.
It's his mom.
I know you've been lying to.
Yeah. I know I've been lying to you.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So all of that is kind of tied up in what estate planning is and how we take care of each other. Yeah, it's the family relationships, right? It's all the stuff that you talked about. And I think choice as the theme and the impact of our choices as the theme in this movie definitely lends itself to that.
Yeah. I feel like if you watched this movie often enough, there would be some one-liners that you could use in planning meetings a few places.
Oh, absolutely. This movie has some of my favorite one-liners of all time.
Drop a couple.
When they're in the Mumbattan universe and they're like, what is that? When they're talking about the giant anomaly warping the universe, and Spider-Punk, without even pausing for a beat, just says it's a metaphor for capitalism. When there's this giant hole tearing in the sky, dropping buildings out of it.
That is a good one.
Another one of the funny interactions is the Spot saying, I created you, you created me. And Miles' dad being like, Spider-Man, why'd you create that guy? And Miles was just like, I didn't. He's talking crazy.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
There's lots of creativity in this movie.
Yeah.
From the animation to the different character dialogue to the,
Yeah, and I think we only scratched the surface of how color and color theory really.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. Thematically, if choice is the theme of the characters and the dialogue and the story, what's the theme in the color and the
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
right. I think there's a lot to explore there, and we just don't have time to do it today.
Yeah. There's a lot in the, and I think what Jason was trying to get out at earlier too is there's just a lot in the intentionality of the way this movie was put together that could be explored that we don't have the time for.
Yeah,
here.
I like when you talk about how they used frame rates and things like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't not see it, right? Like it's
Right.
it's just so obvious.
But it's
Yeah.
also really hard to put a name on that,
Right.
Like, to
Yeah.
put your finger on it, like,
which is why it's a kind of a groundbreaking animated movie, right?
Yeah.
Like the first one too is I mean, it changed the way animation is
Absolutely.
done or even just thought about in the industry. So
And they're just a fun watch,
Yeah.
which doesn't hurt either.
I mean, I
So-
was talking earlier about being dissatisfied with the ending, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy watching the movie or didn't like it. It just
the
there were
ending.
some choices that I think they could have made differently. And
The
that's
ending
okay.
feels very jarring in the grand scheme of things, and especially after the intentionality of the section immediately prior to it with Gwen's conversation with her dad feeling so intentional,
Yeah.
and everything is so put together, and then you just get the really sharp, jarring ending,
Yeah.
and you're like, what
It-
just happened?
Yeah.
It was an odd enough ending that the credits were rolling and I was trying to figure out if like it was
Right.
actually the credits or the
Like
Yeah.
what is that?
something that was going
Because
on.
there is still some of that. Like,
Yeah, like-
is this really the credits, or is
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
just part of their
Yeah, but I was
fourth
not-
wall breaking?
Is this
that
a
they
new
do?
form of Spider-Man?
was not seeing it as the ending, and then we were watching the credits and I was like,
Wait, that was the end?
I missed something. So yeah,
We were talking
it's really interesting.
earlier about how this movie just kind of cut the story in the middle because they originally told the whole story, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they should have cut it about, if you want it to be less jarring, cut it about 20 minutes from where they did, right? Cut it right when Gwen's dad hands her the box from Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown, and she opens it and sees the watch and just looks at it, and then it cuts to
cutting it there.
It goes to
Kinda
her
leads
telling
it to-
her going to Miles' universe, talking to his family, and then cut it with him or her going and talking to Peter B. Parker. And the last line of the movie being Peter B. Parker saying, "Don't tell your mom," and Mayday pulling the mask down, and cut it there. Right?
Yeah.
That
Don't
would've
show
been
her
cool.
gathering the rest of the crew. Don't show anything with Miles being in the other universe.
Right.
Yeah.
That felt like a lot to introduce within the last
yeah.
10 minutes of the movie. Because all of
Yeah.
a sudden, Miles
was-
is talking to the Prowler again and his uncle. And then he finds out the Prowler is Miles.
This is himself.
And
And
then he's
it's-
having a stare down with himself.
Yeah,
at the
and then
end.
that's
Yeah.
the end. And it's like that is a lot of really intense
Yeah.
material to introduce with so little time left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm glad
Honestly,
we watched
Definitely.
it.
I liked this one better than the first one.
Yeah.
I think the animation was like a lot better. Like, not that the first
Yeah.
one was bad, but this one was a lot more improved.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like the soundtrack of this one a lot better as well.
This soundtrack is one I go back and listen to consistently. Like, the music from this one is so good.
Nice.
They know their audience.
They do. Yeah.
That's true. I feel like this movie also is just generally going to be liked more by people our age because of the fact that it's all built on choices. And people going out of high school into college in that time of their life have a million choices on their plate, right? And they're feeling the stress of all of these choices, and now all of your characters are also dealing with the stress of all of the choices, and it's not the same kind of choices, but it's still all those really big choices, right?
Yeah. And it's definitely the story. We talk about all the parent-child relationships, but the story is written
Yeah.
from that perspective. You get the really well-intentioned parents, but
Yeah.
there's not a parent in here that like gets it, right?
And they say that
it's
multiple
that
times.
20-year-old perspective that my parents don't get. They don't get me. They don't understand me.
Right.
They don't.
Gwen's dad, when she leaves, and he just like kicks a chair and said, "This whole parenting thing's a mystery," is like every parent feels that, right?
Yeah.
That was something
But-
that was definitely there for the parents in the room watching
Right.
with their kids.
But those moments are there for the parents.
Yeah.
The movie is there for the kids.
Yeah. And especially judging by when it came out in 2023. That was right when I had started dealing with college decision stuff. Like the very beginning of starting that, right? End of sophomore year of high school. Like right when all of the decisions start. And so I'm all of a sudden feeling the stress of all these decisions. And this movie comes out and it's Miles dealing with the stress of that college decision during the time he's in his universe. And then all of a sudden he's not dealing with that stress. He's dealing with all of the decisions of what happens because I'm Spider-Man and I'm not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
And I think that's part of why I like it so well is because it just came out at that right point in my life.
Yeah. Definitely.
To quote a different one of my favorite movies, sometimes one movie can change your entire outlook on life.
What movie is that from?
Chainsaw Man.
Oh,
That one might be a leap for the podcast.
that one's not happening on the podcast. I can tell you that now, unless I'm solo running that one.
hey,
Which I
I'll
could.
join you.
True.
All right. Another episode in the books.
Yeah.
There it
Whoop, whoop.
is.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
See you next
Thank you
week.
for having us.
Of course.
Yep.
Glad you guys were here. Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to 82 Toothpicks, a podcast from the Heisinger Law Firm. Every episode, we take a movie you know and love and pull out the estate planning lessons hiding inside it. If today's episode got you thinking about your own family, check out my It's Not Too Late book series for practical steps on protecting the people and the things that you care about. You'll find it, along with more resources and every past episode, at heisingerlaw.com. And if you'd like help putting a plan of your own together, the Heisinger Law Firm would be glad to hear from you. Be sure to follow the show wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And remember, every movie is an estate planning movie.